Right. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call Policies and Priorities Committee meeting to order Monday, July 12th, 2021. Approval of the agenda, please. Councillor Norbury.
That all items in the Monday, July 12th, 2021 Policies and Priorities Committee meeting agenda be approved as presented.
Seconder. Councillor Majinski. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Adoption of the minutes. Councillor Lehman.
That the minutes of Monday, June 14th, 2021 Policies and Priorities Committee meeting be adopted as presented.
Seconder. Councillor Norbury. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Any business arising from the minutes? Staff?
None.
Thank you. No delegations tonight. Consent agenda, recommendation. Councillor Majinski.
That all items in the Monday, July 5th, 2021 consent agenda be moved for information.
Seconder. Councillor Lehman. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Any items from the consent agenda council would like to lift? Sorry. Okay. Reports 7.1. 40th anniversary of Tumbler Ridge celebration event. Report dated July 12th, 2021 from the Director of Community Services and Facilities with options for the 40th anniversary of Tumbler Ridge celebration event. Recommendation, please. Councillor Norbury.
Mayor Bertrand, the council endorsed and authorized staff to move ahead with the plans associated with the barbecue in the park for the 40th anniversary celebration event of the incorporation of Tumbler Ridge on Saturday, August 7th, 2021.
Seconder. Councillor Majinski. Discussion. I noticed in the report, I kind of like option 2 as well. Just wondering, Ms. Thompson, is it possible to include option 2 as well into this event?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I will have Ms. Miranda respond to that in regards to staffing.
Thank you.
We can definitely look at adding some of them. They just would be on a little smaller scale because it takes a little longer to do some of these other items.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I like the scavenger hunt idea behind option 2. I mean, I've done them before. I think they're fun. My only concern is if it becomes the focus, it's a little different than what we've done in the past, right? It's been like we had a big barbecue and we had a scavenger hunt for people to participate in at the same time. But doing scavenger hunt first might upset some people because they're used to the barbecue style, and like anytime you make changes, that's not to make a big change, it's a little change, right? So small scavenger hunt.
Yeah, I think I think there's a lot of interesting areas and things around the community that could definitely be part of that scavenger hunt. I like that idea as well. Any other comments? Councillor Kirby?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I think in the future, it would be nice that we started planning these kind of major events well in advance. I know COVID kind of came into effect these last year and a half. We have a 40th celebration. When I was talking to Ms. Thompson, I think it was Ms. Morville's idea, is that we should be having district letterhead. We could be planning something well in advance, a logo for the 40th, so that we've already passed the date. So I would be even in favor of maybe foregoing it for this year and start planning for the 50th in advance. If we have to, maybe an events committee or something in the future so that we are well prepared, because this year, unfortunately, we've missed our date. Next year, we might have a grounds where we can hold a better event. And to me, this is all geared for kids. I mean, for anybody that's lived in the community for a long time, all of us who have contributed to the economy and built businesses, etc. I'd actually like to see a beer gardens. I'd like to see a celebration for the adults to as well be a part of it. So I know that staff is doing their best to put options to celebrate, but that's just my opinion moving forward.
Absolutely, I completely agree. It does seem rushed. I was really hoping for, honestly, I was hoping for more, but we are losing precious summertime, and that's really the opportune time to get people into town is during the summer. It's unfortunately this pandemic. It makes me disappointed in the ability for us to celebrate, I guess, and I agree with you. I think I would be in favor of foregoing it, to be honest. I don't know if next year is the right year to do it or something like this, but I know, looking on social media and stuff, there was quite a few previous residents here that wanted to come back and really reminisce, and I think that would be a shame if we missed that opportunity as well. So curious on other thoughts by council. I honestly, I do appreciate the barbecues, but I'm kind of getting tired of every event we do as a barbecue, unfortunately. I know it's appreciated by many in the community, but I think we gotta do something else. I don't know. Not sure what. But any other thoughts, discussion? Councilor Norbert?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. Looking from my perspective, looking at our options, right? Now, next year, later, there's good arguments for postponing or planning, but I think there is a very strong desire for people to have something now, right? Coming out of a pandemic, people want to get back to normalcy so much. I agree that it would be nice to blow out the lights with an amazing celebration, but something, in my opinion, something right now is better than nothing, right? Bird in the hand with two in the bush, right?
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't mean that we can't start planning for 45 or have we can do maybe, who knows, maybe next year's gonna be the COVID makeup year, right? Let's make up for lost time. We're gonna celebrate 41 and we can have 6 months to plan and get groups and stuff. But I think we should still try and do something. And it is nice getting a hamburger and a hot dog and some cupcakes for me, Mayor Bertrand. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It is important to transition out of the restrictions with these kinds of events. Councilor Lehman?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I think something small. I still think we have to be a little bit cautious. I know we're coming out of a lot of the restrictions, but I think I don't think the time to throw caution to the wind yet. I think, something small, and yeah, it's for the kids, and I think they really haven't had anything for over a year, so I think good on them. I think it might be just a fun thing for them to be able to get out and maybe enjoy it a little bit.
Absolutely. These events are certainly geared for the community. I wouldn't say that we're trying to cater for former residents or people that would want to come back. Maybe now isn't the time, but Tumbler Ridge, I'm sure, still holds a big piece in their heart, and I'm, and also think about we didn't really do any fireworks for July 1st this year, so maybe this is an opportunity if fire bans are off at that time in August to possibly do fireworks as well. I don't know. Any other discussion, Councilor Majinski?
With what we have going on with the barbecue in the park for a summer activity, it's a great idea. We could also do something in the fall as well. We're not tied to just one event and one time of year. If there's a fire ban, we can't have fires, we can't have outings right now, and we can't have fireworks. Well, why not do it in the fall when the bans are lifted? It might be a time to head into the winter with a nice activity involved. And that gives people that do not live here that have time, 3 months or 2 months to plan, that they can come here in the fall time and reminisce and have a get together. And a lot of people are busy in the summer, so they're going to be traveling, they're going to be out camping and fishing and all that, right? So they already have prior plans. So if we put something out now saying that we can post an event 3 months from now and people weren't booked up, then it might be more opportunity to have something a little bit more grand, and it doesn't have to be barbecue in the fall, right? So
It's possible, yeah. It's that makes me think about maybe the rest of the year should be celebrated as our 40th anniversary. Really, like we could possibly plan something every weekend. Tag up with the farmers market possibly, or it seems like a whole nother campaign, but I don't know. Overall, I'm disappointed, I guess. But a lot of disappointments during the last 2 years for sure. So, any other discussion? Okay, call to question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. 7.2, Newspaper Marketing Initiative, report dated July 12th, 2021, from the Director of Economic Development and Tourism with request for clarification regarding a proposed newspaper marketing initiative. I'd like to move this for discussion. Seconder, Councillor Lehman. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Would anyone like to start? Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I first would like to say, I'm not in favor of setting any type of budget until we understand what value we'll get for our money. Right? The report outlined here says we can get a quarter of a page for $3,000. I'm concerned if we set any type of budget that it would, based on that number currently, any budget we put out is a waste of money. Be better spent in other ways. So. That's just my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, I read the report, and it is giving us the option to go with this multimedia company. But I also thought about we already have a digital marketing strategy currently ongoing at the moment, so I'm not really sure if we need them to develop a digital marketing strategy. But as far as the newspaper and the online newspaper that they hold, I think they hold some pretty major subscriptions there, and a lot of eyes see it. So I definitely see value in it. As far as budget goes, I think we have to give somewhat of a range and go back to post, whatever it is, and post media and see what they can offer for that kind of a range, I think. Any other thoughts? Questions? Councillor Majinski?
with our current social media, do you know how much it costed us or how much it was allotted for that? Because I think we did get a grant for the new design and everything else, right? So, and what is the public outreach with that social media platform opposed to going to a paper, to a newspaper? Because this is just one city opposed to where we could have a social online that goes worldwide. And personally, I think regional is more effective than Northeast.
I would argue that though, because I think regionally, a lot of the regional residents already know the benefits of this area, and if they appreciate it, they're coming already. I think initially, I think this marketing strategy was tried to attract de-urbanization. You know, the people that are living in the cities at the moment that maybe can't afford it or just tired of living with so many people next door and are looking for a way out. And you know, I've already met a half a dozen people in the last 2 weeks that have done that, just exactly that, moved up from the island or moved up from the lower mainland. So you know, I do see a trend of de-urbanization, and I do see value in this. Unbudgeted funds is concerning to me, but I'm not really sure. I know we do have a large or large reserve that wasn't used. I can't remember the acronym, Ms. Thompson. Can you clarify what's left in that reserve, possibly?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. You're referring to the
Capital.
capital funds that, yeah, I lost the word too now that you're asking for. Yeah, there is some funds that we'd be able to move around that were unspent from last year. And what we are seeking is just some clarification, like, do we want to do digital? Do you want to stay print? There's just a lot more information that we need in order to be able to bring something back. And Post Media did ask for a budget, because what they do then is, you have X amount of dollars, so then your costs go down. So it's not $3,000 for a quarter page, it might be only $2,500 if you spend X amount of dollars
Right.
in order to get your advertising the most bang for its buck.
Right, so we're basically looking for possible budget amount, duration, and where we would want to advertise. And then Post Media would put together a package, basically. Councillor Norbury.
If we're talking value for money, it comes down to, for me, digital marketing is where it's at. Recently I was looking at, like, what does it cost for web advertising, right? Like, how do people make money on the internet? Well, it's all through advertising. And like, you get money per 1,000, right? And like the money per 1,000 views is very, very small, right? So, we could potentially, if we reach out to digital marketing, maybe the ones, but we can get millions of views for hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars for a quarter of a page in a newspaper, right? Or like click-throughs, you get like 25 cents per 1,000 click views, click-throughs, right? And like that's 1,000 people click on that. 1,000 people actually do it. So I mean, digital marketing now is the way to go. We're talking about, you mentioned urban decentralization. Well, people in urban centers, like, they have access to the internet. They have access to all these social media platforms, and if we were front and center on some of these popular websites, these ad services target people that are looking for what, right? It's just like when we look on our phones and we're looking up computers, we see computers. People are looking for homes, they're looking for places to go. Tumbler Ridge is right there at the top. That's done through digital marketing and the right group to speak to. And like, my concern with physical newspaper is that you're just throwing out a net as far and wide as you can. Maybe you catch a fish, maybe you don't, but like, if we can target, then we can start seeing percentages of return. And that's, I think, our value.
Okay. Ms. Thompson, would Post Media's digital marketing somehow coincide with the marketing strategy that we're currently doing in-house?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. We may be able to use some of our digital marketing and our images in that with Post Media. They do have a lot of different options available, right? Where they're going to search engine marketing, custom content as well. And that would be something that we could look into to, I guess, augment what we currently have for digital marketing in order to, we would have to change a bit of it, because right now the digital marketing we're doing is more for the tourism side. So if we wanted to go more to the move to Tumbler Ridge, we would have to just shift things a little bit.
Okay. Thoughts, council? Councillor Kirby?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I think where we're at right now is maybe not at a stage to move forward with something like this. I think first off, we need to really get our messaging down. What are we trying to attract? Maybe in a little bit down the road, we might have land, we could have, our connectivity could be solved. There could be something that really, offers something to those people that we're gonna connect with and who we wanna bring in. And coming out of COVID, there are a lot of stories about people wanting to get out of the bigger centers and moving into small communities. But at this point, are we ready to put that kind of advertisement out? Are we ready for those people? And I think there'd be a benefit for this, and I think if we built on it later, not to just say no to it, but keep it on the back burner just as an option, because it could be interesting.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think back to when the mines first closed and Tumbler Ridge was being advertised all over the country, and you know, a lot of seniors came to town they were marketing it as a retirement community. But unfortunately, the medical system wasn't quite prepared for that type of influx as well. So, yeah, it definitely, I agree, it does need to be thought out a bit, and I'm not sure if we can really market Tumbler Ridge as being a remote community that you can work remotely from, given our connectivity status at the moment. So, yeah, I tend to agree this might be better served in a year or two, possibly. Any other thoughts? Councillor Howe, you had kind of brought this forward to initially. Curious on your thoughts on the report.
No, nothing to add.
Okay. Councillor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Marchand. You know, I think staff does still have a good alternative to our recommendation to adapting and implementing our digital marketing strategy. I think there is value in trying to attract people moving here. We just talking about digital marketing and how that world works. Like, we could potentially, the power of advertising online now, you could potentially target the 25 to 35-year-old age demographic and get those people moving, because in 10, 20 years, they won't need the health system as much as, say, the retirees will. So there's definitely a lot of value there. So, I mean, I'd like to move the alternative to the recommendation that council advise staff to not proceed with this project at this time, and to continue adapting and implementing the approved digital marketing strategy.
Seconder, Councillor Majinski, discussion? You know, I have spoken to quite a few people that have raved about the resources available on our website, and also have raved about the relocation to Tumbler Ridge guide as well. I think we do have a lot of very valuable online information there. So yeah, I agree with you, Councillor Norbury. I would be in favor of really just promoting our website. I mean, if people are wanting and interested, they will find the information they're looking for on our website, I believe. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. You know, thankfully, I believe that I'm in a good situation to meet new people coming into town, because, you know, where I work, like, the brand is known. People know to go there. You know, I'm noticing, a trend of people moving to town. They did their research. They looked around. They went on the web. They went online. They looked it up, and like, people specifically chose Tumbler Ridge based on the information they could find, and that is a lot because of the forward progress that last council, this council made in, you know, making Tumbler Ridge open for business, just being out there.
Mhm.
So,
Exposure, yeah.
good job for the previous council and staff.
Absolutely. Yep. Any other comments, questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. 7.3, payment of district employees and activated EOCs policy. Report dated June 6, 2021 from Director of Protective Services regarding payment of district employees and activated EOCs policy. Recommendation, please. Councillor Norbury.
The council adopts the payment of district employees in activated EOCs policy PERS 25.
Seconder. Councillor Lehman, discussion. So, Ms. Thompson, just for clarification, we're adopting it at a committee meeting, so does this still have to go to a regular meeting of council for adoption?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. So in the past, we have adopted policy at the PPC, and we are going into the terms of reference. We have another policy that we're bringing, so going forward, it will morph and it'll change a little bit, but at this time, we can still do it the way we have in the past.
Okay, thank you. Comments or questions? Councillor Majinski?
Just to clarify, who are the EOC employees? Is it Ms. Thompson and Mr. Great?
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand, Council. So our EOC is all dependent on what level we're at. So at this time, Chief Curry is the one that is heading everything up and is spending the most time on it. So as our EOC would increase and we would have to bring more staff in, they would also be applicable to the EOC.
Did that answer your question, Councillor? Okay. Any other comments, questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. 7.4, Policies and Priorities Committee Meeting Terms of Reference. Report dated July 12th, 2021 from the Director of Corporate Services regarding the Policies and Priorities Committee Meeting Terms of Reference. Recommendation, please. I'll move that Council receives the Policies and Priorities Committee Meeting Terms of Reference report for discussion. Seconder. Councillor Kirby. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. So I think last meeting I had suggested possibly going to one PPC meeting every 2 months. And the reasoning for that was to try and free up another week for staff to get their work done. So I'm curious, I know in these terms at the moment it does say every month, second Monday, so I'm curious if council wants to stick with that or if we want to go to every second month. I believe we can make amendments at this time, right? Councillor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand, on that point. I do hear a recurring theme of capacity. That being the case, if we're finding that staff is spending, if there's too much time spent on agendas, and that frees them up to fulfilling our objectives, what we want, it seems to make sense, right? Like, let's give a little more time for work to be done versus making more work that sits on a table and falls off, or just piles up, right? So,
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts? So I'll move the amendment to instead of every month for a PPC meeting, every second month. Seconder, Councilor Majinski. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. And again, if we find that things are piling up, we can certainly call another one. Are there any other amendments to these terms of reference council would like to make? I do think it's important to have these terms of reference. Certainly, it's not only guidance, but a bit of important information, really. I know when I first came on, the PPC was quite confusing to me what the purpose was. I thought one of my thoughts for the future is maybe we could add in the agenda part is maybe bring up a policy for review every time. And I certainly don't know all the policies, and I'm not sure if all of staff know all the policies either. And I know Ms. Thompson's been being proactive on making aware of all of our, well, some of our policies anyways. But it would be an opportune time for this PPC meeting to review policy as well, and if anything needs to be adjusted or changed, that's really the time. Councillor Norbury?
I kind of agree with you, Mayor Bertrand. I think that's the benefit to keeping the name Policies and Priorities Committee Meeting, which some of us tried to change earlier. To keep our focus on what we should be. I think, policy change, or revision. I think Ms. Thompson has done a great job at digging out these policies that are old and out of date. There are guiding documents. If we come in new, we need to look at the policy. If staff comes in new, which we have a lot of, going and looking at these policies for direction. That, this is what we should be doing instead of the bread and butter policy. But I don't think we need to particularly have a subject heading policies, because sometimes what if we don't have any?
Yeah,
Take time to adjust.
good point. Ms. Thompson, do you think that kind of a policy review could be done in reports then, or do you think a separate heading would be beneficial?
Thank you, Member Bertrand. I feel that we can leave it under reports because it is for discussion and for review, right? So when staff are creating reports, it's not that hard to put it in there, and we can put all the policies together at that time and put that in that way.
Right. Okay, thank you. Any other amendments, council? Okay, so I'll move that council adopts the amended Policies and Priorities Committee Terms of Reference presented as District of Tumbler Ridge Elected Officials E09 policy. Is that good? Seconder, Councilor Majinski. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. 7.5, HR3 Conflict of Interest Policy, report dated July 12th, 2021 from the HR Coordinator, Confidential Secretary regarding HR3 Conflict of Interest Policy. Recommendation, please. Councilor Lehman.
That the District of Tumbler Ridge Conflict of Interest, HR 3, be approved.
Seconder, Councilor Kirby. Discussion? Thank you to staff for putting this one together. I think it was very elaborate, and I think it spelled it out quite clearly. It's very important. I like the way this HR department is starting to go, for sure. All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Ms. Thompson, any questions come your way?
I have none.
Thank you. Adjournment, please. Recommendation? Councilor Lehman.
Motion to return meeting.
Seconder, Councilor Kirby. All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you.
Joanna had her hand up, that's why.
Oh, did you? I thought so. One of them did. I was waiting.